Hey! Is this not why you were here? Good morning! Oh, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Okay, I'll get the comic book.
All right, and welcome back to we got a new show actually, still Morning Dash, but we're going to call it Midday Dash because the girls are back in school, so that takes up our morning. But we're back. We got a great show today. Some of you all may or may not like this show. I don't know. We're going to be talking 1980s greatest toy playsets. Who didn't? I mean, who didn't? Was there ever a time, I should say, was there ever a time where you wanted a toy or something for Christmas, birthday, whatever, and you never received it, right? Like one of the big play sets. 80s were known for big play sets. Let me tell you, nowadays, not so much, but the 80s into the 90s, there was huge toy play sets. We loved them. We wanted them. But maybe never got them, never had a chance to get them. But, you know, now that you're older, you can do a little toy collecting or whatnot. You can go get them and get those holy grails that you wanted. But, yeah, there was times where I wanted play sets growing up in the 80s, and I never got them. Now I'm on the hunt, the trail to grab these awesome toy sets, play sets that they grew up with. One, I know there's probably a few that I will never get, but I won't. It's not for lack of trying, trust me. So let's get into it. Man, you know, G.I. Joe, the flag, the USS Flag, Masters of the Universe, Castle Grayskull. I did get the new version of Castle Grayskull. I never got the old one, but there was the Ewok Village, Transformers, all of them. They all had huge, giant play sets. And when I'm talking play sets, it's something that where you can take your figures and play with it, and set up scenes. Transformers, maybe not so much with some of them, but they're still huge play sets. Some of the things that I grew up with. Now I was born in the 70s, grew up in the 80s, so a lot of the things people don't even see now. But MEGO was a huge toy with figures and things. They had cloth goods on their figures, and something that you rarely see these days. Some of them are coming back with their cloth goods, but MEGO, 6-inch action figures, very limited articulation. But MEGO had the Batcave, one of the very first Batcaves that I can remember. This was one that I wanted growing up, but never got a chance to get. I do have some MEGOs in my collection now. Some of them are the new. I do have some old ones as well. But these are toy lines that were just fun for me back in the day. And then you had the MEGO Hall of Justice, another one that I wanted, but never got. But, I will hunt them down. Unfortunately, now you have to go to eBay or you have to go to flea markets antique stores to find these. Sometimes they're overpriced. Sometimes they're, incomplete. You can try to find a way to complete them, but I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Then you had the Kenner's Superpowers Collection Hall of Justice. I did see one of these recently, not mint in the box, not in perfect condition, but it was fairly priced. I think it was at like $30. And I could build, if I can find the pieces to it. I'm going to go back and pick this one up. But all of these toys that I'm talking about now have made a comeback in the 2020s. They're calling them the retro toys or whatever. Their styles are a little bit different than what they were back in the 80s. They've upgraded some of the articulation on them. But all of these are making it. The problem for most of these, they've come back in the 6-inch style. So making a scaled 6-inch styled headquarters or things like that is in today's market, in today's economy, would kill us. So that's why some of these things are hard to collect now, because obviously as time goes on, the price goes up, and when you have to meet supply and demand and things are getting ridiculously priced, it's hard to collect some of these things. Again, we talked about Castle Grayskull. I did get the new one, or Lorena bought the newest one for me, the one that came out in 2023. I do have that one, but there's still the retro one I'm looking for, retro Snake Mountain, or vintage, I should say, vintage Snake Mountain and vintage Castle Grayskull. I saw a vintage Castle Grayskull, not complete, and it was a decent price as well. I think it was like $50 or $60. That's not too bad in the realm of things. But these were huge. Everybody, I don't know how many He-Man collectors out there are now, but He-Man's still huge. I collect all the He-Man I can find. Eagle Force, Eagle Island. This is another MEGO, but these were die cast, probably about 2-inch die cast figures. But Eagle Island, that was like, I can remember when I saw this running downstairs to my parents. I want this. I want this. I want this. Never got it. I did have some friends that have it, did get it, and I did get to at least enjoy some playtime with it. But this is one I'm looking for now. For those of you, if you're ever out there, if those watching, or if you're ever out there in the world, these are the things that I'm looking for. So if you ever see them, let me know. Shoot me a message or something. Let me know that you've seen these. I would love to find some of these. And again, reasonable price. This one's going to be way up there in price, though, probably around the $200 to $300, maybe even $400 price range, mint condition in box, maybe even more than that. But I loved Eagle Force. They have done if you go to Big Bad Toy Store, they have brought out or they've done the Eagle Force now in the old G.I. Joe 3 3/4 line. They even made characters such as John Wick and things like that for their figure line. I know they have a Super Mario Brothers team up, and they've made some of the obscure characters from the 80s to join their team. I've got a Charlie Brown. In fact, might be hard to see, but this is my Charlie Brown action figure from Eagle Force. He comes with a little dog, comes with a little beagle that looks like Snoopy, but that is a cool addition to my action figure collection. But yeah, Eagle Force was pretty cool. Moving on, obviously G.I. Joe. If anybody knows me, I'm a huge G.I. Joe fan. They had some of the greatest play sets. If you go back to the 80s and talk about play sets, G.I. Joe had them. You had the USS, excuse me, I can't talk. The USS Flag. Now I'm, this came out in 85. I'm now 50 years old. That's how many Christmases I've celebrated without getting a USS Flag. The G.I. Joe Defiant Space Shuttle launch complex. Piggybacking off all of the space shuttle missions that NASA was doing, G.I. Joe made their own space shuttle. You had the Cobra Missile Command Headquarters. That was a 1982, 1983 Sears exclusive, all made out of cardboard. If you can find this, it's probably thousands of dollars in mint condition in the box. There have been some repros. I do now believe there are some sites out there that create the out of cardboard again, but they've created it and made it easier and for access, but it's not the original. And then you have the Cobra Terror Drum down there in the bottom corner. I had that for a while. It was not in mint condition. It did get torn up, unfortunately. So bad on me. Just some other random ones that I did want. I mean, I was huge into Dungeons and Dragons growing up. Still am huge into Dungeons and Dragons. We got past the 80s satanic panic, and now it's okay to play Dungeons and Dragons. And so the Fortress of Fangs playset, I have only seen one time out of box, mint condition. That was, again, you're looking at $400, $500, $600, depending on. You had the MASH military base set. A friend of mine had this one. I never had it. My friend up the street did have this, and we got the plates. You could put they did make MASH figures, again, in the G.I. Joe 3 3/4 style. But the play set was cool with your G.I. Joes. You could build like a little fire base and hospital for your G.I. Joes. Some of these things I'm still looking for. Not necessarily, none of these have to be mint and perfect. Like I said, I can go, if I find the base set, I can find on eBay and or Etsy or those sites like that where you can find little pieces and parts to make it 100% back to what it was. But yeah, loved all these play sets. Like I said, I never had these. Some of my friends had them. Star Wars, obviously Star Wars is a huge factor. You had the Ewok Village, the Hoth playset, the AT-AT or AT-AT, depending on what you want to call it. Cloud City playsets. Star Wars was another one, had many different huge playsets for your figures. That's what the 80s is all about, man. Now I couldn't imagine. Most of your Star Wars has brought back vintage lines and retro lines, but they also have a 6-inch line called the Black Series. I couldn't imagine an AT-AT in a 6-inch scale. That would be huge. It would take up so much space. Someone, going back to the USS Flag for G.I. Joe, someone has made a 6-inch. It is 11 feet long from wall to wall. It's 11 feet long, and they have made it. But some of these play sets, I have seen, if you go into Gambit's toy box, they're in Bethany. They do have a mint complete. I don't remember if it's in box or not. They do have a mint complete Ewok Village, relatively priced well, but they have that. They have a lot of excellent toys there at Gambit's toy box. And someday, if all my videos finally make it, if I might finally make it big doing my videos, I might be able to afford some of these. But till then, I can just keep wishing. Then you had, obviously, Thundercats, Voltron, a lot of great 80s properties. All of these are making the comebacks. I have some of the retro style lions that have just come out. They're at Target. You have the black lion. Well, you have all 5 lions. They're at Target. If you go into the collectibles back there by the DVDs, you can find the lions for Thundercats, or excuse me, for Voltron. I know Super 7 is a toy company. They just redid a Thundercats Cat Slayer. They did it through Kickstarter and crowdfunding. It's huge. It is a huge play set. It's for 6-inch figures. I think it's in the $400, $500 price range, but it's pretty cool looking. Go to Super 7. You can look up the Super 7 Cat Slayer. It will show you that you had the funny thing about the 80s is you had rated R movie properties, like Rambo, RoboCop. All these rated R movies had 80s toy properties, and they even had cartoons. Rambo and the Force of Freedom. RoboCop had a cartoon. Toxic Avenger had a cartoon. All these rated R movies had toy lines and cartoon lines in the 80s. And then obviously, some parent got a bee up their bonnet and decided that that wasn't good enough. Everything had to be educational on if it came on Saturday mornings. That is why we don't have any more Saturday cartoons. But never fear, MeTV, MeToons on your kind of took over for Boomerang and Cartoon Network. Go check out MeToons. It's on regular TV. If you have antenna TV, check it out. They run 24-hour cartoons all day long. You know, that's my favorite. But you had Rambo, the Savage Strike Headquarters, Mask, Mobile Armored Strike Command, had the Boulder Hill playset. Some awesome playsets that, and I know that, again, Gambit's Toy Box does have, here in Oklahoma, Gambit's Toy Box does have a Boulder Hill in there. I think they have it for sale. If the last time I was there, they had it. Transformers again. You have Fortress Maximus. You have Omega Supreme. These were huge toy play sets for the Transformers. These were ones I wanted, obviously never got. If I got them, I wouldn't be talking about this show today. But yeah, Transformers had some great ones. Most of their larger ones, obviously, were the combiners. The different, you had take 5, 6 different Transformers, combine them together. Those are some of the big play sets as well. But again, G.I. Joe, Transformers, Masters of the Universe, some of the great toy lines from the 80s. All of these now have retro style and are bringing back their figures. G.I. Joe is it's 6-inch right now. What you're looking at here is the 3 3/4 line. I do know that Super 7 has the license from Hasbro to make 3 3/4 G.I. Joes again. We'll see how the price range is a little bit. I think they're in the $15 to $20 price range. Sometimes that can be a little expensive, a little steep, especially when these were back in the 80s, $1 up to $3 per figure. But He-Man relatively comes out with their new retro line. But He-Man has the Masterverse, the Origins. There's so many different lines for Masters of the Universe, but they're all good. Transformers, also go check if you're into those. They have them all. Big Bad Toy Store, Amazon, Entertainment Earth, Hasbro, Pulse has an app that you can buy all these figures if you're looking for them. Mattel Creations for Masters of the Universe, they have a great where you can only get you can get some exclusives from there. Again, MEGO, like I talked about, the Eagle Force and the MEGO 6-inch figures, action figures, the cloth goods. These are some of the originals from the 70s and 80s. I'm always on the lookout for these. If you find them, please let me know. Marvel, they don't make Marvel right now. MEGO just came back out. They do have license for some of the TV shows. Fonzie, I have a Fonzie. I have some of the Monkeys, the band. Davy Jones, Mickey Dolenz, all those guys. I have some Monkeys. And then I also have some of the DC ones that they've come out with. But I am looking for the vintage, old 70s and 80s because they have Marvel. They have Captain America, Spider-Man, Thor. They have a actual Clark Kent that I'm looking for from DC. He's in his suit. So if you ever see those. And again, all of these wouldn't be possible, and we miss our retro stuff here. The Wish Book, Sears Wish Book 85, the greatest Wish Book ever. And if you don't believe me, there's people that have this up on the Wish Book from 85 up on eBay, Etsy, Macari. That is one of the greatest books, and it just if you don't believe me, go look it up. And then Toys R Us, we miss Toys R Us. I know they're back in certain areas. Macy's has, or is it Macy's? Yeah, I think in some of the Macy's, Toys R Us are inside. Kind of like if you go to Target and there's a little Disney store in there. In Macy's, there's Toys R Us. Disney. If you go to Target, there's Disney store. If you go into Macy's, there's little Toys R Us's in there. I do know they are coming back to brick and mortar where they're going to actually have some. So we'll see how that goes. These two things made Christmas great. Toys R Us, Wish Book. Growing up, I had TG&Y. I just posted Skaggs Alpha Beta the other day. That's where we got our toys. TGNY, Skags, and then Target. Before they became super centers, Target was a small. Target and TGY here at Oklahoma used to compete a lot. Otasco, and some of the great places where you can get toys. But these places make it fun. So yeah, these were some of the great play sets. I didn't go into them in too much in depth. Maybe I'll do a show later. I'm trying to set up my YouTube. If you'd like to follow me on YouTube, go to Dash Hooper, YouTube Dash Hooper, and follow us there. I have one video up. We're talking about the Intellivision games. I'll be getting other videos uploaded. This one will be uploaded to YouTube later. But pass it on. Here, give us a follow on YouTube. Give us a follow on Facebook. Like us on Facebook. And if you can, hit that thumbs up. Hit the star button as well. If you hit those star button, it does help me to make this channel. I'm trying to purchase some things. So give us a hit on the old star if you can. Other than that, we'll be back next week with more Midday Dash. Will be at noon 30 time with our shows due to like I said, due to the kids being in school. But if there was a play set or anything from the 80s toys that I missed, feel free to leave it in the comments section. Let us know what toys you like from the 80s. And if there's something that you're hunting for, let me know. When I go out hunting, I'll look for it. Like I said, a friend of mine, we're always messaging each other back and forth on products that have come out, G.I. Joe, Transformers. But yeah, other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this. We might do more in depth on certain play sets where we talk in depth on each one, and instead of just throwing them all out there. But I appreciate you guys. Have a great day. Come back and see us. And like I said, give us a thumbs up, give us a like, share this out with your friends if you can. If you have any toy collectors friends, share this out. I'd like to hear from them. Other than that, have a great day, and we'll see you soon.